I'm Brett Michael Phillips, and welcome back to video number 5 in our series on the anti-secret, the 7 most common reasons the law of attraction does not work. Up to this point, we've covered 4 of the biggest obstacles and giving you action steps and solutions. We talked about subconscious blocks, we talked about attachment to result, we talked about over-linearizing our thinking, we talked about the lack of clarity. Today in video number 5, we're going to talk about the brain, and specifically the brainwave state you need to get to if you want the universe to deliver your results. As the fact is, most of us, when we're doing our manifesting processes, right, whether it be a vision board or a law of attraction weekend or a wish list or whatever your thing is, most of us don't realize the universe cannot hear us. And if the universe can't hear you, how in the world is it going to bring you what you want? It can't. So what's the secret? It's pretty simple. If you want to have any real chance of success, creating changes, manifesting, using mind power, you need to learn to get into the proper brainwave state, specifically the theta brain state. And so I'll talk a little about the brainwaves here, but long story short, there's been a lot of fascinating research done on the power of the mind. Back in the 60s and 70s, the government, both in the United States and the Soviet Union, had remote viewing programs. They literally had professional psychics working for them, trying to spy on the enemy during the Cold War. And I actually had a great opportunity to work and train with one of the women that grew up in one of the government's remote viewing schools. And there's been a lot of great research done on it, especially at the Stanford Research Institute, the SRI. Here's what they found. Long story short, all of the mind power or paranormal phenomena, including instant healing, manifestation, clairvoyance, reading the future, remote viewing, all that stuff, all of it is strongly correlated to the theta brain state. So if you want to get real results from energy healing, from law of attraction, from manifesting, from intuitive readings, it is critical that you learn how to put yourself into a theta brain state. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what the brain waves are and what the theta state is, and then give you some specific action steps and techniques so you can learn to do this for yourself. Because this might be your missing piece. It might be that this is the only thing holding you back from getting the changes you're looking for in your life. So let's talk about brain waves just very quickly. Just so you know, you don't have to know anything about brain waves or any of this stuff to be a great healer, to manifest money or success or love. You don't. But it might help to learn it, right? So let's talk about this very quickly. Here's the essentials. Your brain is like an electromagnetic machine. There are electrical currents running through your brain all the time. It creates an electrical magnetic field around it. And using the proper machines called EEGs or electroencephalographs, you can actually map out and read exactly what these brain waves are. And it's pretty amazing. So there's 5 primary kinds of brain waves that have been identified by scientists and doctors. Again, you don't need to know any of this, it's just pretty interesting. There is the beta brain state. That's our normal waking consciousness, right? That's where most of us spend most of our time when we're not asleep. The beta brain state is a high frequency state. It's roughly 13 to 40 hertz or cycles per second, so it's fast. The beta state is what's called the fear mind, the ego mind. And that's the one where we get attached, where we get into fear. It's great for some things, but it creates a lot of attachment, a lot of problems. So one of our goals is to learn how to get out of the beta state, because manifesting and healing does not work from the beta state, almost guaranteed to fail. If we can slow down the brain a little bit, it puts us into what's called an alpha state. An alpha state is a little slower waking brainwave. In terms of numbers, it's 7 to 13-ish cycles per second or hertz. So it's a slower brainwave than the beta. The alpha state is associated with creativity, with super learning, with relaxation, with emotional release, and also pain relief. So the alpha state is great And a lot of new agey processes, Reiki healing, pranic healing, anything you're doing hands-on healing is using an alpha state. And if you're able to slow down your brain a little bit from the beta to the alpha, you will feel better. You'll have more energy. You'll have less stress. You'll have less pain. The alpha state is often called the meditative mind, because many times when we're daydreaming, when we're meditating, when we're relaxing, our brain slows down into the alpha state. And the alpha state is great because we can do some healing. Again, emotional release, pain relief. The alpha state, though, can't get into the physical body. It's not powerful enough to create instant physical change, instant healings. It's not powerful enough to create huge changes in your life in terms of money or love or happiness. But it's a step in the right direction. Beneath the alpha state is the gold. The one we're looking for is the theta state. The theta state is a very slow and powerful brainwave. It's roughly 4 to 7 hertz or cycles per second. With the theta state, that's the gold, right? That's where you see instant healings, clear intuitive readings, remote viewing, instant manifestation, profound life transformations. And if you're not able to get yourself into a theta state, you're kind of sunk, right? The beta state will do very little for you in terms of manifesting or healing. The alpha state can make small changes, right? Emotional relief, pain relief, small manifestations, but the theta state is the one we want. Here's the problem. For most of us, the only time we go into a theta state is when we're asleep and dreaming, during what's called REM or rapid eye movement sleep. Here's the trick. If you want to have more success with the law of attraction, energy healing, mind power, focus, prayer, any of that stuff, you got to get yourself into a waking theta state. That's what works. That's the gold. Heck, if you want to change the subconscious, you need to get into a waking theta state. Why is that? If you're in an alpha or a beta brainwave, the subconscious is locked up tight. Imagine the subconscious being like a bank vault. You want to get into the vault to get the money, right? Well, if you're in an alpha or a beta state, the bank vault is locked up tight. You cannot get in. The theta state is like this magical key that unlocks it. It opens your subconscious so you can make shifts. So this is the gold, right? I'll very quickly mention the other brainwave states. There's also what's called the delta state. That's the slowest of them all. That's like 0 to 4 hertz. Generally, that's associated with unconsciousness, with a coma. And from my understanding, we generally touch the delta state once during an overnight sleep. But don't worry about that too much. There's a fuzzy barrier between delta and theta, right? If you can get down into delta when you're awake, even better, right? But it's not necessary. The last brainwave you may see is called the gamma state. That's a very high frequency state. That's like more than 40 hertz. And usually the most common time our brains go into a gamma state is during a life-threatening emergency. As an example, you ever been in a car accident and had the experience of time slowing down? I had that happen to me once. It was crazy. It really felt like time slowed to a crawl. What's happening? Is time actually slowing down? Of course not. What's happening is your brain is speeding up. And so if we want to manifest, create things in our life, heal, do all these things, what we're really after is a combination of theta and gamma. That's what works. And don't worry, you don't need to know any of this nerdy stuff to get results, right? I'm just going into some detail for those of you that want to know. In a few minutes, I'll cover action steps on how you can get to this theta gamma state. One more thing I want to say about brainwaves is to correct a common misconception. I used to think, and many people think, that brainwaves work like the speedometer on your car, right? Because your car is either going 10 miles an hour or 30 or 60 or 17 or whatever, right? Your car can't be going 7 miles an hour and 80 miles an hour. That's impossible, right? So brainwaves are not like that. It's not like your brain is at 7 hertz or 2 hertz or 13 hertz. No, that is too simple. That's over linearizing. The way it actually works is your brain has some amount of every frequency all the time. So your brain has some amount of activity at 0.5 hertz, at 2 hertz, at 7 hertz, at 13 hertz, at 90 hertz, right? You have some amount of brain activity at every frequency, every brain wave all the time. So what does it mean to say we're in theta or we're in beta? All that means is within that frequency range, right? Alpha, beta, theta, delta, gamma, whatever it is, you tend to have a higher amount of brain activity than the others. So to say you're in theta doesn't mean your brain is moving at exactly 6 hertz. No, that's over-linearizing. Incorrect. What it means is you have more frequencies around 4, 5, 6, 7 hertz than you do with the others. Higher amplitude. It just means there's more of it, right? Imagine like wearing different colored clothing. You might be wearing blue jeans and a blue shirt, but have a red hat on. Well, you're not just wearing one color, you're wearing more than one color, right? You might say you're wearing blue because most of what you're wearing is blue, but maybe you have a red hat and white shoes. So you're wearing mostly blue, but a little bit of red and white. That's more like a brainwave. So you can have a lot of theta, a little bit of gamma, or a lot of beta and a little bit of alpha, or any combination. So I just want to be clear, to say we're in theta or in delta just means that there's more amplitude, there's more brain power at that frequency range than others. It's not like the speedometer on your car, right? That's how I used to think it would work. I'm like, hook me up to an EEG and tell me what frequency my brain is at. No. What EEGs do is they measure how much brainwave activity at every frequency. That's what we want. So how do we get past this? We want to first recognize the reason that most traditional prayer and mind power processes don't work is this. It's the theta state. The universe, God, the law of attraction cannot hear you. You need to speak in a way it can hear you, right? Turning up the volume isn't going to help. You got to change your brainwave. It works like this. I remember when I was maybe 10, 12 years old, my parents took me and my family to Mexico for a day. And I remember, I think we went to Ensenada. And I remember being with my mom and my sister, and my mom was trying to talk to 2 Mexican men to ask for directions. And she went up to speak to them in English. And they didn't understand her. So my mother started raising her voice and speaking really loudly. And me and my sister were busting up laughing. Why? We're like, Mom, the problem isn't volume, right? The problem is these men do not speak English. Shouting at them with a bullhorn in English is never going to work. It's not that they don't like you, it's they do not understand you. You need to speak to them in Spanish. And then a nice man came along and translated for us, and we were able to get our directions, right? This is what I'm talking about. Most of us doing our law of attraction, manifesting, energy healing prayer processes are using the wrong brainwave, and the universe can't hear you. It's nothing personal. You're in the wrong language. In order to speak in a way the universe can hear you, you gotta get to the theta state, right? That's like speaking Spanish to people in Mexico. They can hear you, they can understand you, they can help you, right? Otherwise, amping up the volume isn't gonna make a difference. So you gotta get into the theta state. So let's talk about how do we do this? How do you access this waking theta state? There's a lot of ways. But before I go into the different ways to do it, I just want to hit pause for a very quick second. If you like this video, please hit like, please hit subscribe, go smash them, hit them 4, 5, 100 times, right? Awesome, send it to your friends. The more people you enroll to learn this, the easier it gets for all of us. Life is not a competition, we're all on the same team. So please share this freely on social media, send it to your friends, send it to your family. The more they learn about this, the more powerful you will become. You might check out the description, you got some links to my website, take the free spiritual power quiz, learn what your secret spiritual power is, get on my mailing list, come to my Wealth Club events, clear your subconscious blocks to money, come to the Heal-a-thon, experience this work for yourself. Don't believe any of this just because I'm saying it. Believe it because you apply it and you see that it works. Awesome, so thank you for that. Here's an awesome picture of the bottom of the ocean. Cool. So how do we get into theta state? Well, first realize it's not easy. It's not something you can brute force or willpower. Why again? Most of us only go into theta when we're asleep. So how do we take advantage? First one is really easy. If you're gonna do some kind of mind power manifesting process and you don't have the training or the tools to get into theta at will, do it right when you wake up in the morning or just before you get to sleep at night. Why? When you're just waking up or just going to sleep, you have a lot of theta state. So if you're going to do your mind power process and you haven't done the training or worked with me or have any of my programs that help you do this, do it the instant you wake up in the morning before you even open your eyes. Seriously. As soon as you open your eyes, you've shot your theta state to heck. Gone. Or, this one's harder, last thing before you fall asleep at night. So those are two times we naturally have a lot of theta state. So if you're going to do prayers, healing, manifesting, and you don't know better ways to get to theta, that'll work. Second way, you can use encoded recordings called binaural beats. And I won't get into the nerdy details, but long story short, there's specific technological ways of encoding an audio track that if you listen to it with headphones, that's the key, gotta be with headphones, it plays signals to the left and right ear that are slightly out of phase. That tricks your brain to go into a particular brainwave state. And I have some binaural beat encoded tracks to take you to a waking theta state. Would love to have you check them out. You can go to my website. I also give them away for free with many of my programs and sessions. I would love for you to have these. So you listen to it with headphones and the technology will put you into a theta state. No further effort required. So get a binaural beat program, use mine, and there's lots of others on the internet. Heck, you could even download the software and make your own. It's not that hard. But using binaural beats is another way to get to the waking theta state. A third way to do it is to use my encoded programs. These are specifically for accessing the subconscious. So I have a number of what I call my premier centerpiece programs that are designed with binaural beats that while you listen to it will put you into that waking theta state and open your subconscious. I do it in 30 Days to Awakening, End to Suffering, The Formula for Wealth and Love for a Lifetime, Unleash Your Millionaire, 7 Steps to Happiness. All of them have significant amounts of this encoded block clearings. I call it the Formula for Miracles technology. That will do the work for you. It will put you into the theta state and clear your blocks just by listening. So that's a great way. Another way to do it is to book me for a one-on-one. If I work with you one-on-one, I know how to entrain you in and out of the theta state in a fraction of a second. So I can very quickly bring your brain to different frequencies depending on what we're doing. So that's an option. You can also come to one of my group calls. I do regular live events through my members program online, including the Worldwide Wealth Club, where I will do it as a group. So for example, if you come join the Wealth Club, you can send me a list of subconscious blocks to money and I will clear them for you and everyone else. And I do that it's a live event, by entraining you into the theta state very quickly, making the shift and pulling you out. The cool thing about that is you may not even notice it's happening, right? You're going to think nothing's happened, but I've moved you in and out of the theta state very quickly to do the work. So that's a great way. The best way of them all, though, by far the most profoundly transformational for your life, is to get training. I would love for you to come to one of my weekend intensives where I'm going to show you a simple step-by-step process to get yourself into the theta state, to do energy healing, manifesting, focused prayer, clear space, clear radiation, retrieve soul fragments, clear blocks, subconscious downloads, manifest all this stuff. And when you first learn it, you'll be able to do it in a matter of seconds. And when you've practiced it some, you'll be able to do it in milliseconds. You'll be able to do it literally as fast as you can blink your eyes. And the great thing about the training is once you learn it, you're able to do it anytime you want, as much as you want, for anyone you want, for the whole rest of your life. And that is enormously empowering. So if you'd like to learn more, go check out my website. Make sure you register for my Healathon live webinar, where I'm going to talk more about this technology, about how you can learn to very quickly put yourself into a theta state to start getting real results from the law of attraction. Because again, big picture, one of the primary reasons we don't have success with The Secret or law of attraction or healing or prayer is that you're in the wrong brainwave state. The universe can't hear you. It's not that the universe doesn't want to help you, it can't hear you. So get your brain into the waking theta state, send your signal, and I think you'll be amazed at what happens. Stuff actually starts to work. That's all I got to say for now. I am Brett Michael Phillips signing out, and I hope to see you soon with the other videos in this series on my website or at one of my live events. And especially would love to get you at my weekend intensive to show you how to do all these things so you have the ability to move in and out of the theta state at will anytime you want for the whole rest of your life. Until next time, please take care and namaste.